On episode number 8 of the Chris Elliott Real Estate Show, we're going to be giving you your monthly market update for the month of October, and now to the show.
Welcome to the Chris Elliott Real Estate Show, where we bring you insights into the local Central Virginia real estate market, go in depth to answer your real estate questions and concerns, and interview local figures and influencers in the greater Richmond area. And now let's get to the latest episode with your host, Chris Elliott, and co-host, Maddie Ray.
Hey. How are you doing, Miss Maddie?
I'm good. Busy day. How are you?
How was that cheeseburger?
I didn't eat a cheeseburger. Thank you very much. It was a McChicken.
So Maddie was scarfing down some McDonald's right before we started.
Because you sent me out to East Henrico this morning.
I think there's a little bit of French fry on the microphone. If you would clean that off, please.
There's not.
I'm just kidding with you.
My hair is on there, though.
Yeah. Anyway, how you been? How's your week been?
I'm good. It's been a good week.
It's been a very good week. It's busy, but not like too crazy.
Yeah. It's not too busy where I don't want to do it. But
want to kill yourself?
That's not appropriate for the podcast.
I'm sorry.
That is not. That's what I was going to say.
I apologize. Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, yes.
Okay. Danielle, how are we doing over there?
Really good. I'm adopting a cat.
Hello.
It's a really
I'll
cute
put a
cat.
picture in.
It's not
really cute.
It's not somebody else's cat, is it?
No.
That you're just like appropriating?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's not one of Maddie's 17 animals. How many dogs and cats do you guys have?
2 cats and a dog. It's not that crazy.
Yeah.
You're making me sound like a single owner of 50 cats.
Crazy cat mom.
Just a crazy cat lady. Well, the good thing is Maddie lives on a farm, so they have plenty of space
That's it. Yep.
for it. No, not as much.
No.
So Maddie actually lives in the apartments that my wife and I used to live in, funny enough. Have we figured out if it was the same apartment or is it a different
Do you remember the
apartment?
location, generally speaking, in the complex? Because we can figure it out that way.
Is there a stain on the living room floor? No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
Moving on. Moving on.
There
All
is
right.
now.
All right, we're going to need to edit that one out.
Just kidding.
Not even know it. Anyway, moving on. So this...
Say hi to your wife.
Hey, baby. How are you doing? All right, we got to be mindful of the podcast listeners as well. So we're on Facebook Live if you're listening to the audio. My wife just signed on, and we just waved to her. But anyway, today on the show, we're going to be talking about the monthly market update. So once a month, we come at you with a market update where we review not only the local, but also the national news and trends, just so you guys can stay abreast of what is happening in the real estate market. Very, very excited. Maddie, can you read our first point for us?
I will, but also wanted to let you know it's National Bosses Day.
Hey,
Shout out to you.
National Bosses Day.
Yeah, happy National. We got you a present, but it's not here yet.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you hitting deadlines on time, especially presents. Just kidding. Had to rub that in. Thank you guys so much.
You're an okay boss.
When's hey, that's better than not okay. When's like National Employee Day?
You missed it already. It was like administrative. So we got a week. Administrative, whatever. Those people. We got a week. You got a day.
Okay. All right. That
And
sounds fair.
you missed it, so it's fine.
Okay.
I'm not even that sad.
All right. Well, thank you guys for whatever is to come. Hopefully you're a better gift givers than my wife. Hey, baby. How you doing?
Yeah, she told me about that. I am so glad that she is biting the bullet there for women everywhere.
So quick funny story. I have to roast my wife on this podcast. So one Christmas, she sits me down. She's like, hey, I got you a really cool gift. And I'm like, awesome. What's it going to be? Open it up. Daniel, what do you think? Like if your girlfriend told you she was going to get you an awesome gift, like throw me out some random ideas of what you think it might be.
Sure. So a trip somewhere that's really cool that you
She's
really want to
laughing
go
already.
to. Yeah. Maybe I don't know, new TV or like I don't know, like something for the car, whatever.
Something expensive, something you would have wanted, something you've maybe talked about, and on and on and on. So I opened this gift up. My wife bought me a blow-up mattress. A blow-up mattress, folks. Now, this was not like, hey, get out of our bedroom.
That's what I was about to say. It was like, maybe this was a hint.
This is what you sleep on from now on. It was a, hey, we've talked about going camping, and here's a blow-up mattress that we decided, and by we, I mean her, decided that we needed for camping.
It's the thought that counts. Leave her alone.
It is the thought that counts, but when they get you a blow-up mattress, it's what are they thinking? So anyway, no, here's the best part. Just like an infomercial, So I was laughing when I opened this gift, and she was too. But then the follow up was, she goes, but wait, there's more. I think you're really going to like this second gift. The second gift, a grill cover.
So you have
Yep.
you have the mattress, and then you have a makeshift blanket for you to sleep in your living room
And cover
from
it.
now on.
Yeah. So, which is probably what I'm going to have to do after telling this story tonight. But anyway, enough of the silly business. Let's move on. National news. Give me the first headline here.
42% of top
Economists.
that's the word, believe the economic recession will begin in 2020.
Maddie's really good at emailing and typing, not as much on the vocal talking thing. But
true.
no. So if you've been watching the last few episodes, if you've been watching, listening, however you're receiving this information, we've been talking about it for a few months now. We're going to be continuing talking about the recession because it is coming, or at least all the major experts agree in the next few years we're going to be.
Only 42% of the experts.
Believe it will begin in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well.
So some people believe it will begin this year. Some people believe it'll begin in 2021. Some people believe it'll start in 2022. But the thing is, we've been if you study the numbers, we've been in the longest economic recovery in United States history. We've been in the longest bull market. I think it's lasted about 10 years. So what we're going to be seeing with the election coming up next year is we're going to hear a lot of talk about recession. You're going to have one side of the fence that's going to be saying that this is the worst economy and it's a result of the sitting president. You're going to have the other side of the fence that says it's the best economy. So, but what the actual experts are predicting is that we are going to be heading into an economic recession. Now, when we talk about recession, one thing that we need to know is that the definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth or negative GDP. So, the only thing that really stops an economic recovery is a recession. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're headed for a meltdown, that 2008 is going to be happening again. It just means that we are going to have a slight little hiccup in the economy, and 42% of top economists believe that will start in 2020. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I was an economics major, so I can kind of nerd out on stuff like that. But
Yeah, if you see my eyes start to glaze over.
yeah. Which
I really find
happens.
this super interesting.
Which happens a lot when I'm talking to Maddie. She just
Wow.
or she just moves on. Kind of like my wife. She's just he just wants to talk right now. So I'm going to sit here.
Sometimes you just like to listen to yourself talk. It's okay. There are people like that.
Yikes. If only I was a dictator, I could get my way.
If only I was a dictator, from the words of Chris Elliott.
All right. So, but no, we want to keep bringing this up because you're going to hear a lot of rhetoric. You're going to hear a lot in the news media about a recession. And I think we just need to bring the facts in. Here's the important thing to know in regards to this podcast is an economic recession does not necessarily mean a housing crisis or depreciation in housing values. Matter of fact, and I'm going to have Daniel, who's going to hate me because I'm creating more work for him, but my main man Daniel is going to, right, Daniel?
Correct.
I don't even think
Correct.
he has enough work yet. I think you should just stack more work on him all the time.
We talked about it this morning. Daniel's got a full amount on his plate, so much so that you're actually going to be helping him on his job as well.
Oh, am I going to go out and
so-
take pictures?
So be careful what
Yeah.
you say.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Negative.
Now I'll have
Please do
2
not.
jobs.
Yeah. But no, so in only 2 of the last 5 economic recessions did we have a depreciation or did home values drop. Obviously, we took a huge whack in 2008. Home values dropped about 19%. I don't have the graphic in front of me, but you'll see that. So it was a pretty drastic recession with regard to the housing market, this last one. And I think a lot of people still have kind of PTSD from that. But what folks need to realize is that most recessions don't result in depreciation, don't result in a negative impact on the housing market. And then I think the only other, recession where there was depreciation, it was about 1.9%. So pretty small in relation to things. So, and once again, stop me if this gets really heady because I can go on and on and on.
No,
this.
it makes sense. And it's good information for people to have if they can listen to you talk for that long.
If you can see Maddie's face and the sarcasm that's coming through as she says that. So anyway, so where want to make that point. Another point that we've made in the last couple podcasts, but we want to make it again, is that all of the top real estate economists, so there's various firms out there that do studies, that look at the numbers. I mean, you've got big corporations. CoreLogic is a huge corporation in the real estate data space. You've got big real estate companies, title insurance companies, all these folks that have a lot of money on the line with regard to the housing market. So they all have economists. All of the top real estate economists are projecting that home values are going to continue to appreciate, but they are going to appreciate at a slower speed or a lower rate than what they've been appreciating. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not, we're not going in the wrong, we're not going to be headed in the wrong direction. We're just going to be headed in the right direction, but at a slower pace than what we've been seeing.
It doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you do not stop.
Motivational quote of the day. Maddie's going to be doing the Motivation Mondays from now on. Thank you, Madison Wright.
Why'd you have to use my full government like that?
Your full government name.
Christopher Elliott.
Let's make a quote card out of that right there. I think we should just have the thumbnail for this show is just going to be a picture of Maddie doing that quote, and she's going to have like a Martin Luther King type stance where she's just,
I'll do the politician hand thing. Like,
yeah,
where they put like their thumb over their fingers.
The Bill Clinton like knuckle point. Anyway,
that's an actual inspirational quote that someone said. I didn't just make that up.
It was really good.
We can pretend I made it up then.
I'm so motivated right now. I'm motivated to move on.
Nice segue.
Yeah, really. So anyway, to recap, we're going to continue to appreciate. We're going to return to more of a normal market. Usually we see 2 to 3% appreciation rates historic. That's kind of like the historic norm. We've been chugging along at 5 to 7%. So all of those folks are predicting that the rate of appreciation is going to slow down. What is at a historic low, though?
Affordability, which I don't understand these statistics. Does it mean that things are more affordable or less?
No, it means it's more affordable. Yeah, and the notes I make didn't necessarily make sense. But so there's an affordability index that they use, basically saying how much does housing cost in relation or how affordable is housing. So what this graph, which once again I'll get Daniel to throw it in the video portion of this. He's like, yes, one more thing for me to do. I hate this guy. So anyway, so the affordability index. So it's a metric where they take into effect the wages that are being earned on a national average, the home prices, and then also interest rates. So if you really think about it, I mean, this makes sense. The affordability of real estate is going to depend on how much money you're making, how much real estate costs, and then what interest rates are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's been some talk of, because homes have been appreciating so high that housing is now becoming unaffordable. And I think this is also one of those things that's going to get leveraged in the next election of, hey, the millennials are not able to buy houses because home pricing has gotten out of whack. And
do they talk about real estate on?
Oh yeah. It's not as much of a hot topic, but it's another bullet in the gun, so to speak. But what we need to know is that affordability is at an historic low, which is great. So this is the percentage of your take-home pay that has to be allocated towards real estate if you're going to own a home. So what they're saying is the historic norm is that folks are spending about 21.2% of their paychecks or their income towards housing.
I'm spending way more than that on my rent.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a national average. So obviously, if you're in California, Florida, New York, Boston, this is going to be higher. If you're in the Midwest, this is going to be lower. But on a national average, to own a home, it is only taking 15.7% of your income in today's day and age versus the historic norm of 21.2%. So it makes sense. Does that make sense how, that's a good thing if you can own a home with
well, yeah, I mean,
15%
of your income is less than 21%, which means if you're only spending 15% of your income on your mortgage, you can spend more on other stuff.
It's a good thing. It's
positive.
And it encourages home ownership, which is really good.
I feel encouraged.
That's good. You should buy a home.
I know.
You should probably wait till you get married.
I probably should.
And that's an unsolicited opinion that I'm just going to throw out there. But
that's my plan.
If anybody wants to know my stance.
That's
too
my
bad David's
plan.
not tuning
Get
in.
married, get a house.
Yeah.
Too bad David's not watching.
Which, by the way, you guys are going on a trip towards the end of the year, aren't you?
Yeah, actually in the
Do we-
beginning of next year.
Do we think something's going to happen on this trip?
I've decided that when that does happen, I'm going to announce it on the podcast. I
Okay.
won't tell you beforehand, so I'll get your raw reactions.
Are you not going to post it to social like everybody else and their mother?
Not until after I tell you guys
Okay.
for the dramatic effect.
Okay. So if Maddie is really, are you not
I'm
going to
not.
you're not going to wear the ring until then?
I'll hide it from you guys. I got a plan.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so let's say I get engaged on a Saturday. I'll just not wear my ring at work until we come into the podcast, and then I'm like,
So if Maddie's really jacked up to do a podcast one week, we can kind of know what's happening.
David will tell me.
So
It's
have you
okay.
planted?
No, he won't.
Well, we're totally getting off the subject here, but have you planted the bug that this is expected on this trip, or do we think it's going to happen?
I don't think
or-
it's going to happen on this trip. I think it's possible, but I don't think it will.
Okay. All right.
Because he wants to wait until after a year, and that's in February, and we're going in January. So he could, but probably not.
But you guys haven't been dating a year.
No.
Wow. It took me 4 years to ask my wife to.
Yeah, I'm
You're lucky.
hitting the
Allie's
4-year mark in November.
I told David, I was like, if it's February 20th, 2021, and that's the day after our 2-year anniversary, I was like, if you haven't proposed by then, I'm just gonna propose myself.
Wow. not like I'm going to leave you. Like I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah, I'll be tired of waiting at that point.
That's probably one of the most emasculating things ever is to have a woman propose to you.
That's what he thinks too, and I don't get it. It's
Like, if my girlfriend
2019,
did it,
people.
I wouldn't care.
I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna end up on nighttime news for this statement.
Oh,
But,
here we go.
No, for what I just said.
Oh,
But
I thought you were saying something even more.
no, I'm not gonna go past that line. But anyway, all right, back to the numbers. The average.
We really.
We just went on a tangent there.
Yep.
Average mortgage right now is $878 a month. God, I wish my mortgage was $878.
It's $100 less than my rent.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing. If anybody's telling you different or if the news media is telling you different, right now, the average mortgage payment is $878 a month. Your average rent is projected, no, I'm sorry, I'm misreading these numbers. The average mortgage payment is $878 a month, and it's projected to go to $899 a month next year. So as far as looking at it in the forecast, people are talking about housing prices are going up. Oh my gosh, homes are almost unaffordable. I hear people talking, hey, we're almost becoming Northern Virginia now with these prices. The reality is, across the board, and of course these are national numbers, the average mortgage payment is $878. It's only projected to go up to $899. So even if you need to adjust that for, my mortgage payment is $1,500 a month, it's probably only looking to go up to about $1,600 a month if you talk about moving to a comparable house. So I think all of that is good for buyers. And then Maddie, since you were a renter, tell me about
Sadly.
read the next point to me.
The one you just said?
No, the last one of that section.
Median rent is now $1,008 a month and has risen every year since 2011.
Yeah. So another graphic that I'm going to have Daniel chop in here. He's loving me. So if you
So much sadness with that rent number. That makes me so sad.
well, so I mean, look at it on a national scale. The average rent is roughly $130 more per month than
Or
an
you
actual
know what's
mortgage.
wild too? When I was in Florida, I paid the same amount for a 1-bed, 1-bath that you are paying on your mortgage.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference in areas.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
I'm just saying that's to rent an apartment. That's insane.
Yeah. If you lived in Manhattan, that would be like you can stay in somebody's broom closet. 3
Yeah, I
days
read a
week.
story about somebody renting a 400-bedroom apartment that didn't even have a bathroom in it in Manhattan for $1,000 a month.
Oh, it's wonky.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, we should do a show on that maybe one day. I'll have all my buddies from across the country tell me about the crazy stories of their market.
If it's all about renting, I'll just be crying the whole episode.
Or if she doesn't get her ring, David,
He won't watch this.
she'll be crying that whole episode.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the national news ad nauseum, and now we're jumping over to the local news.
Oh, I'm gonna eat a fry.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat that to death. So if you're not watching, Maddie's literally about to eat a French fry.
Well, now I'm not because we
Here,
are
I
still
can
going.
mute
Because I
you.
pointed
and you
out.
can just chomp down.
No, negative. All right, so let's
I was
talk
gonna
about
do it.
let's talk about local news. So a couple stats that I thought were interesting. Closed listings. Looking at when we talk about local news, we're always looking at the statistics from the month previous. So we're looking at the numbers from September because those are the numbers that we have right now. Closed listings this past September compared to September of 2018 were actually up 14% from last year. So the amount of transactions that closed, the amount of properties that went under contract, up 24% from September of last year. September of last year was a very good month, but the numbers are up 24%. And then new listings, properties hitting the market, up 11% from last year. So
you know what's weird though?
Talk to me.
The pended listings is up 24%, but the closed listings is only up 14%. So there's a missing 10% there.
No, negative, because the closed statistics, that's always a lagging number. Because if you think about it, those are properties that went under contract more than likely late July and August.
I'm dumb. I was thinking that there were just deals that fell apart.
No. But no, so that's very cool, meaning that we had a great September last year. But it looks like obviously there's a ton more activity happening in September of this past year. Average list price to sales price is currently last month was at 99.29%. So that's what, a home's listed for versus what it's actually selling for. Average days on market was 31.54 days, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, pretty good.
End of month inventory was down 24% from September of 2018, meaning the amount of homes that were left on the market. Month supply of inventory was down 24% as well from last year at 1.99 months supply of inventory. So
there were just less homes on the market?
So basically what we're saying, if you read between the lines, in summary, more activity than last year with less homes left on the market going into October. So what we're predicting is it's going to be a pretty strong fall, which is pretty cool because September is kind of like the first month of the fall market. So more activity, less homes to sell means very good things for sellers. I think part of that is that the interest rates are very good. So as far as what this, all boiled down means to you is if you are a seller, or if you're somebody that's looking to sell, do not be scared off by conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom being, hey, you don't want to sell a home in the fall and the winter because that's a bad time to sell and things don't sell and blah, 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 blah. I feel like I have this conversation 3 times every day these days. The reality is if you look at the numbers, we're having a much better fall than we did last year. Last year was a very good fall as well. So homes are still selling. They're selling at good rates. I mean, they're selling at 99.29% of the asking prices. They're selling in 31 days. So if you look at all of the indicators, that I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm not, this isn't a sales pitch. I mean, the numbers show you that it is still a very good time to sell a home right now. The other thing to consider is that buyers this time of year are more serious buyers. So you're probably going to have less showings. I mean, you're seeing it. We're having less showings on our properties.
Yeah, and I get discouraged, but then I remember they're more serious. Even if we get them few and far between, it's not like nothing's going to come from it.
Yeah, so here's the cool thing. I mean, this time of year, the folks that are out looking at homes are serious about buying a home. In the summer, in the spring, we see more casual buyers where, hey, if maybe the perfect house shows up, blah, 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 we're thinking about it. So you get more showings, but, if you really kind of dig a little deeper, a lot of those buyers are not necessarily serious buyers. They're maybe just starting the process. It's just something they're casually thinking about. They're not ready to pull the trigger on a house. Most all of the buyers out shopping in the fall and the winter, those are folks that are ready to pull the trigger if the right house presents itself. So keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged if there's less activity. The numbers still showing you the results are still happening. If you're a buyer, great time to buy given the affordability index that we talked about earlier. Also given the fact that interest rates are still at the time of this recording are still under 4%. Even if you don't have perfect credit and you're up to 4.25, anything under 5% is cheap money historically. So you're able to lock in a very good interest rate right now. Don't be scared off by the what you're hearing in the news as far as the economy and the recession and all that stuff. All of the experts are predicting that homes are going to continue to appreciate at good rates. So it's not like you're buying at a bad time if you buy now. One thing to realize is there's going to be less homes on the market this time of year. You're going to have less inventory to choose from. So it's just a reality to know, but also know, on the flip side of that coin, nice homes are still moving very, very quickly. We're still having listings that are selling within the first day or the first weekend or something like that. So, good homes when they hit the market, they're going quick just because there's so much demand, especially at the first time home buyer price point that's built up. So anyway, that is the update. Did that all make sense? Do you feel like we gave the folks some good information?
I think we did.
Awesome. And
What do you think, Daniel?
I think we're doing a good job on that.
As a non-real estate person, do you
Sure.
feel like that was informative?
Oh, absolutely.
That's good.
Are you saying that just because you're
I
talking
wouldn't
to your
lie.
boss? Or?
Because it's National Bosses Day.
I was
I'm
gonna
very
say that.
truthful about things I'm being educated on. So definitely it's interesting and very informative.
Okay, good deal.
Cool.
Well, let's jump over to the fire round. My dad said doghouse. Apparently, I'm in the doghouse.
I saw that. It was funny.
Okay, so let us jump into the questions. What questions do we have from the social mediums? Maddie.
Do you think we're gonna have another market spike like we had before in the spring and summer months when it was just really?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Richmond market historically, we usually do have a little bit of a surge in the spring and the summer. That's just kind of normal in our market, normal in most markets. So yeah, I would,
We're gonna have another one, you think?
What do you mean by spike? Or what did the person mean by spike? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I just imagine like another period of a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, where there's just a lot of activity, and then things are going really fast.
I mean, it always comes in waves. Typically, you see more activity. You see more homes that are closed and sold in the spring and the summer. It's just kind of when a lot of real estate gets traded that time of year. So.
Yeah. Okay. So if you wanted to get your mortgage around like the 878 to 899 range, how much would you be putting down?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I wish I ran these
You got
numbers.
some smart viewers.
Yeah. So let's do this real quick.
Oh, good. The camera's off.
Yep. So I'm just gonna pull up a mortgage calculator real quick. Maddie is back here over eating fries again. So let's just pull up a quick little mortgage calculator and just see. So if you wanted to, so let's take a $250,000 house at 3.5% down. Okay, so that 878, once again, that's a national figure. So that's taken in across the whole nation. So it might be hard to find that in our marketplace, depending on how much you're putting down. If you are somebody that is buying a $200,000 house, which is kind of tough to find these days, let's call it maybe a $250,000 house, and you can get to a 5% down payment, which is $12,500. Your payment is looking at about $1,463. Let's round up and call it $1,500.
Nifty.
Yeah.
What a nifty tool.
How much are you paying in rent right now?
Oh, $975.
$975. Okay, so you're going to bump yourself a little bit, but also keep in mind that you're also building equity. You own the place, which is always cool. And
Well, I'll be bumping myself up even more
how so?
because David was in the military, so we get a VA loan.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but you can get into a house for nothing down, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like without having something down, your monthly payment kind of goes up, doesn't it?
Which, by the way, I'll say on this podcast, we appreciate his service.
Thanks. That means
Yeah.
a lot to him.
Yeah, now marry the girl. Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to hear him about it every day.
Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on. Next question. Maddie's over here giggling like a little. Whoa! Wow! Just got the daggers. All right. Question number 3.
Do you think the winter market's going to be similar to the fall market in as far as activity and whatnot?
Tough to tell. You know,
You forgot to bring your crystal ball into the podcast?
Yeah, I forgot to bring my crystal ball. So honestly, the last couple of years, it's been continuous. I mean, if you look at the home sales and you break it down in a percentage, which I just did because we're business planning for 2020, it was pretty much consistent as far as October, November, December, the amount of homes that were sold, even going into January. And I mean, if we look at our own personal numbers, we've had very good sales within the fourth quarter, pretty much every single month. So I think what's happening there is you've got there's so much pent up demand from the buyer side, and you have so many buyers that have missed out in the summer or just kind of threw in the towel in the summer. But when things start to the perception of things kind of slowing down, or maybe they just got back into the market, they came home from vacation, or they got back into the market towards the latter, the fourth quarter of the year, they're still finding homes. Homes are still hitting the market, and they're getting scooped up. So, I anticipate a very good fall and winter.
Cool. If you're a buyer, is it smarter to shop more seriously now to avoid competition?
Yeah, so it's always a catch-22. So I would say there's less. I mean, honestly, we used to say there's less buyers in the fall, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I would say you just got to be ready because, as we said, when good homes hit the market, they're flying off. Just understand and know that you're going to see less inventory on the market this time of year, especially given the price point. If you're shopping in that first-time home buyer price point, there's going to be more inventory available. If you're looking at that kind of move-up home, maybe 300 to 500 in our market, that stuff tends to be a little bit more seasonal as far as the availability goes, because a lot of folks are selling based around the school schedule. So you tend to see more of that inventory available in the spring and the summer months.
Yeah. Okay, and last question. Could a home that's been on the market since the summer still sell?
Yeah.
If it just hasn't been moving or anything at all?
Absolutely. We always see that. I just had this conversation with a client the other day, is as long as you're on the market, you're giving yourself a chance. And we've seen it where, for whatever reason, whether it was overpriced or what have you, where a home, 30, 60, 90 days on the market, not, thankfully we don't have too many of those that sit around, but we've had listings where they don't sell over the summer, and we keep it on the market, and then all of a sudden the right buyer comes along, in the fall or in the winter, and they fall in love with, and they make an offer. Or maybe there's, in that segment of the market, all the other inventory either sells or goes away, and they're kind of the only show in town, so the buyers end up buying that property. So absolutely, if you're feeling discouraged, just know that there are still buyers out there. Have a serious conversation with your realtor as far as, hey, is there something wrong with the property? Are we overpriced? Do we need to adjust the marketing? But if all of that is right, then, maybe just hang in there, and just know that, there's still hope going into the fall.
And if you're the only show in town, then obviously you're the best show in town.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another
That's a good Maddie motivation.
That should be like a Valentine's Day card.
A Valentine's Day? What's Valentine?
A Valentine's Day. That should be like a Valentine's Day card that you should give David. Like, hey, was thinking of you. If you're the only show in town, so you're also the best show in town. Oh God, David's gonna hate us. We should get him on the podcast one episode.
Oh yeah, he could talk about animals that have nothing to do with real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, we appreciate you guys tuning in. That wraps up show number 8. If I can speak, obviously I've been speaking.
That rubs up show number 8.
That rubs it up. If you guys have any other questions, if we can do anything for you, if you have suggestions, go ahead, hit us up on social. Daniel will link that all up in the video. Giving them more work. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks for joining us for the Chris Elliott Real Estate Show. If you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, please contact Chris Elliott at chris@chriselliottrealestate.com or by phone at 804-980-1898. And please join us again next time for the Chris Elliott Real Estate Show.